I'm Just Saying is sponsored by Zone Delivery USA. Fresh, healthy meals delivered to your door. For more information, go to zonedeliveryusa.com. Hover.com. Go to gfq.hover.com and get 10% off your entire purchase. And by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook by going to audiblepodcast.com/GFQ. Hey everyone, welcome to I'm Just Saying Week 55. I'm Adrian Zarian, joined by the very lovely and black Lon Blaze.
Yes, well, black is thinning.
How you doing, Lon?
I'm doing everything that I can to be black and thinning.
Everything. You want to be black and thin.
Yeah.
I'm
going to start tanning now.
Joanna's not here this week. The couch is empty.
Yeah, and Aggie's taking care of her. Oh, look at the empty couch.
Yeah. So you're still, we were talking right before we went on the air, but before we get into the conversation, I want to remind everybody, go to our website, guysfromqueens.com. You can subscribe to I'm Just Saying and all of our other shows on the GFQ network. We're on iTunes, we're on the Zune, but if you go to guysfromqueens.com, you could subscribe right over there. You could hit the subscribe button. Also, you can watch live on gfqlive.tv. We're broadcasting on Stickam, Justin TV, Ustream, live stream, and of course our audio feed, which is the most popular radio station on Stitcher, stitcherradio.com. So Lon, you are still in the midst of your diet, losing weight.
Yeah, you know, when you think you're gonna have a heart attack, and you get over that, you kind of freak out, and so I went on, got real serious, and I've been doing 2 workouts a day. I've been limiting myself to 1,500 to 1,800 calories, doing 600 to 1,000 calories.
How many calories were you having before that?
I don't know, but I was maintaining, you know, we'll put it this way. I did my basal caloric rate,
yeah,
you know, what it takes for me to maintain the weight that I had.
Yeah.
I won't even go into that. I'm only going to announce how much weight I've lost.
Okay, what was it? Were you that surprised when you saw it?
Oh, yeah. I was. It was a number I had actually never seen before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, the problem was what I was doing was I was eating like I was training, except I wasn't training.
Yeah, I do that all the time, and I'm never training.
Yeah. So I spent the winter not training, and you know, between Joe being ill and stuff, and then I twisted up my ankle and stuff. So I had every reason, and the winter was just insanely snowy and cold and stuff. So poor to do, but I did it anyway. So March 21st, I started on my descent down, and since March 21st, I'm down 9 pounds today.
Wow, that's not bad at all.
No, I don't know if I can keep. You know, you lose a
how long can you keep this up?
I don't know.
Because, but you know what, you possibly can. Because when I was doing the zone stuff,
but I'm not your age. You know, and it just works different. The metabolism's just slower.
A lot of it is water weight, right?
Yeah.
I mean, were you putting in over 3,000 calories a day?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, you're going to drop that immediately. As soon as you cut it by half.
Yeah.
I've
cut it by a good third.
What?
And then I've increased.
What week is this of your diet?
I'm going into 3. I just finished 2.
I'm going to tell you from advice, from what I did. You're going to see a huge drop after week 4. Like, you're gonna lose, out of nowhere, you're going to lose like 7 pounds, 8 pounds in 1 week. And you're going to say, how the hell did this happen?
Yeah.
It's almost like your body starts adjusting because it's like using up the reserves.
Yeah, it's freaking out too.
Because even when you're losing the weight, you know, you're cutting the calories, but that fat that's in your body is kind of still there.
Yeah.
Within about 6 weeks, you start seeing a big drop.
Well, I'm trying to lose a goodly portion of it before I do the ride in May, you know?
Yeah.
And then I figure that week, that will jumpstart any major weight loss.
But you were going to start training anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
But listen, my I went when I thought I was having the heart attack. He sent me in for blood tests. You know, he said, you know, you haven't had them in a while, and all my sugars were high and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I started off when I went in the day after the faux heart attack. It was 140/90.
Yeah.
The next week it was 130/90, and then I went back a week later to get the blood results, and I had been being really, really, really diligent, and my blood pressure was 110/80. So
So you're back down to normal.
And then he took my blood sugar that day, and my blood sugar was normal. So
see, I have high blood pressure to begin with.
Yeah.
So
you have to be careful with that. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm working out at my new place now. My old trainer has a place now. He has I didn't know it's a franchise. He has one of these places called Fit Body Boot Camp.
Yeah, I just drove by the place actually.
Yeah, did you look at it at all?
I was at a red light and I was stuck
Okay.
there and I was
Yeah.
looking inside.
Yeah, it's very Spartan. They don't have, there's no machines in it. It's a room full of stations and stuff that you work out at, and, and it's a really great workout. And you do something for a minute, you take 15 seconds, and you do something else.
You just
for a
go
minute,
back, yeah.
and you keep doing things, and it's a 45-minute workout.
How long have you been doing that?
I'm doing 2 weeks now.
That's not bad.
Yeah, if listen, my guy Kaiser, so it's the Fit Body Boot Camp.
Fit Booty Camp.
Fit Booty.
Yeah.
I'm going for that too. Fit Body Boot Camp, and this one's in Great Neck.
All right. And
but there are others.
how long do you
around.
plan on doing it?
Me? Well, I have a long-term goal. Again, I'm only going to announce my weight loss. I'm not going to announce how much I want to lose.
Well, what do you plan on losing? Like, can you say how many pounds you want to lose?
Oh no.
Oh, you don't want to say
it's
that.
absurd. It's absurd because we had talked about this before, but I'm in the midst now. I'm working with the Fit Body Boot Camp trainer and a Pilates instructor and a gyrotonics instructor, and I want to reshape my body. I want to resculpt because.
Well, it has to be difficult, at your age to
Oh,
even do
love that. At your age, love those words.
It has to get
term.
hard.
Don't
right?
ever use those words on Joanna. Oh man, she will just rip you one.
Well, I think she knows I'm joking with her when I
Doesn't
say
matter. It doesn't matter.
Well, you look great for. Isn't that insulting? Isn't that insulting? You look great for your age.
Not for nothing.
So if I was 10 years younger, I would look horrible.
Right. Oh yeah. It's just like when you start looking good for your age, that just blows.
Does Joanna not accept?
Well, she fights it. Which,
getting older.
I think she gives it the good fight as opposed to the paranoid fight. And there are people that are.
But
just
you know
like,
what? We're in a lucky time where
this stuff is possible.
When you hit 50, you don't have to look like you're 50.
Yeah. Would you take a look at Dana Delaney?
Yeah.
She looks hot.
Yeah.
She's 55.
Well, you'd be surprised how many people. I mean, the 40s are not what they were 20 years ago. A lot of I'll give an example. I mean, late 30s. I remember when I was a kid and family friends, if they were like hitting 40, they were starting to look old.
Yeah.
Now it's totally different.
Well, I don't think anyone knew that they could be in shape.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't, first of all, Botox wasn't a common thing.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic surgery was not as acceptable as it is now.
And you know what's weird?
It was a big secret.
There's an odd, like, sort of social pressure to it now.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say as an actor, okay, every once in a while I get my teeth whitened because
everybody's doing
because
it.
everyone does it. And if you're the person that doesn't do it, people look at you and go, "What's wrong with your teeth?"
Yeah.
So everyone does it now because everyone else does it.
It doesn't take too much to look good. I mean, and I'll tell you what, we have a friend. We have two friends.
Just the two.
Just two. That's all I have. One is a very pretty girl.
Yeah.
That just doesn't know it. She doesn't know she's
well, you know what?
attractive.
Anyone who's really attractive, one of the or someone who maintains their attractiveness rarely thinks they're good looking. That's why they're
it's
always
not that she thinks. She has no idea that she's that attractive, and she won't do anything. Like, she won't do her hair, she won't do her makeup. She doesn't understand. She says, "Oh, well, I don't look that good to do it." But she's a very attractive girl. She just won't put any effort. And this much effort goes far. And we have another friend is not that good looking at all, but the way she dresses and does her makeup makes her look, unbelievable.
Yeah,
amazing.
Absolutely. Joe has one of my favorite things that Joe says is at 18, beauty is a gift. At 30, it's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
By 40, it's an art form. Anything past that, it takes a village.
Yeah.
It just because, she has a whole regimen of people. I think you've met our cosmetician, Diana.
Yeah.
She does marvelous stuff. She makes me look way better than I should.
Well, listen, Botox is totally acceptable now. Nobody hides it. Nobody hides.
But there are even
Restylane and Botox.
There's really good skin treatments now. Just basic skin treatment. Just if people just use like a basic exfoliant on their face, it's like amazing how you can
brushing your teeth will go far.
Oh yeah, that whole flossing thing, absolutely amazing.
It is fascinating how even I have a lot of friends now. Girls and guys that are getting, Restylane injections.
Well, I just
and we're my age, 20, 26, 27, they're getting it. Jessica's considering. Jessica wants to go get filler.
It's amazing.
She says it all the time on the air. She wants to go and get it. She goes, I have a couple, from all the tanning she's done. So she has a couple wrinkles here and here. And she goes, I want to get rid of it. If I could get rid of it, why not?
They bother you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, same here.
I always tell her face is like rubber. She can make these crazy faces.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell them, like, see what happened? You made those faces and now you got wrinkles. And by the time you're 40, that's it. It's all going to be drooping. And then she tells me I'm going to lose my hair. So it's a vicious battle between
But your dad
us.
has his hair.
Yeah.
Right? What about your...
My mother's father?
Yeah.
No.
No hair?
No hair.
Yeah.
Never had. I mean, but he went bald at like 15.
Yeah.
The guy he always looked old. If you look at a picture from him when he was 40 and you look at a picture from him when he was 80,
I know a guy that's
same
looked.
guy.
I know a guy that's looked 45 since he was in college.
Since he was in college, yeah.
But he still looks 45, and now he's 55.
Yeah, so
You know
he
what I
looks
mean?
good now.
Yeah, so it worked. And what's really weird is I had two friends that couldn't catch a woman with a fishing trawler when they were in college, and now, because they look their age, they're fresh game.
Yeah.
Everyone, there are women that like really want to meet them and stuff.
It's interesting. I was watching this thing. And it was the science of good looks, and they say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but only to a certain limit.
Well,
there are key things.
The proportions of the faces. Did
Yeah.
you see that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this what you're talking about?
What was it on? Do you remember?
There's literally a proportion to the size of your eyes, where they meet. It's like there are all these proportions of each part of your face to the other that connotes beauty, and that connotes beauty across the planet.
But the thing was, they were talking about that, but it was more about why are we attracted to that? Why do we find that attractive?
Well, a lot of the ones I know is that like women with the majority of men in the world like a woman with wide hips. And basically, they said that goes back to a biological indicator that she can bear children well. Shiny hair is attractive because it connotes health.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are several things like that basically go back to a biological imperative.
Yeah, and now in days of the internet, everybody's ugly. Every beautiful model is ugly because you could criticize them.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're also, this guy, one of those guys that now can find women, what I used to love about him, he's like, I often say that this buddy of mine has the best sex life of anyone that I know.
Currently.
No, always. He always had
okay.
the best sex life. It was in his mind completely, but he had an amazing sex life. And you'd bring up in the day you'd bring up Cindy Crawford, and he'd go, yeah, she's not that good.
Yeah.
It's like, because if he shot them down first, then it would work for him. Like no matter who it was, he'd go through Playboy and go, yeah, I'd never date her because her, I don't dig the implants. And it's like, yeah, you would turn her down.
Yeah. I have so many friends that are like, they're like, oh, no, she's not hot. I'm not into that look. And I'm like, there's no way she would even be attracted to you remotely. There's no possible way that she would find you attractive. I guess it's like a defense mechanism, right? If
Absolutely.
I can't have it, it's
then I'll
not
shoot it
good.
down first.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with it.
Well, I think that's an offshoot of what you were talking about on the internet. Is that we just love to put down before we are. The best offense is a good defense.
I was reading it was some it was Denise Richards. Was on one of the gossip sites this morning, and there was a great picture of Denise Richards in a bathing suit on the beach, and she's probably in her upper 30s at this point. She's had a couple kids. And some guy who goes, oh, my God, she's so hideous. I don't know why anybody's attracted to her. And I'm thinking, who are you dating? What quality of woman are you finding that you go online and you find Denise Richards to be unattractive?
Yeah. I want to see your girlfriend.
That.
I want to see a picture of your girlfriend.
Yeah. The odds are he's probably never had a girlfriend and he's angry. I have a lot of buddies
from
like
their
that.
mother's basement.
Yeah, I have a lot of buddies that are like that, and they really they're very hateful when it comes to women, and they never have I can't think of a real relationship they've been in. The quality of women that they are attracted to or go
good
with,
thing because women suck.
Are not good, and they are just so angry towards women, and I'm wondering what made you that way. What made you into that? And I'm thinking, you know what it was? They probably didn't get enough attention from the girl that they liked, and now they're just angry and bitter at all of them.
Right, and then they get to be articulate. They get a little power. cyber machismo as it was.
Yeah.
It makes me nuts.
Did you see the Charlie Sheen?
Yes, I want to
Torpedoes of
rename our
Truth?
show. I want to rename our show.
Sure.
We're going to be the Landmine of Logic tour.
Landmine of Logic. That's the name of the show today.
There we go. Yeah, it's like,
It's a
you know what it
mess.
is? And I feel really bad, but I'm just sort of sitting fascinated to see how long this can play out. How long can he do this?
Oh, I
It's
don't
not
know.
even, so I don't even want to hear what he does anymore. I'm just fascinated to see. It's like when you spin a coin and you just sit there going,
What
how
size?
long will that last?
What do you think the deal is? I mean, really, I think it's fake. It's all a big work.
I think you know what it is. I think it's a little bit of what you say and a little bit of what we've been saying is that he is bipolar. You know,
He's by winning, according to him. But I think, the craze has kind of left, right? It's over. The
It's
whole
hard to
Charlie Sheen
sustain.
madness.
it's hard to sustain. What you have to do is be a little crazier every day.
Yeah,
You know,
but where do you stop?
Where you stop, you end up being Andy Dick.
Yeah.
that's what happens.
Oh,
You know,
poor
'cause
Andy Dick.
He got bigger and bigger and bigger.
I think that Andy Dick should be the poster boy for what not to become in Hollywood. When you when you enter the Screen Actors Guild, they should send you a pen.
Don't be an Andy Dick.
Don't be an Andy Dick. And it's a picture of Andy Dick drunk, passed out in the bushes, and it says, "This could be you with success," and it tells you the do's and don'ts.
Absolutely. And from what I understand, he's like a really nice person.
Yeah, we've spoken to him a couple times. And
Yeah, and it's like
he was. I guess I could say it. He was supposed to come on our show a while ago, and he was really nice, and he just never showed up, and he did it twice because he was way too allegedly he was under something. So
poor Andy Dick.
poor Andy Dick.
Yeah, I just the Detroit opening was horrendous of the Charlie Sheen show.
Oh God, people were booing, right? They walked out.
and they said, but people said that the Chicago thing was much better. He did the next night in Chicago, and that it was much better.
How much better could it get? I mean, how could that?
Well,
improve?
from what I understood, he got in the bus in Detroit, and by Chicago they didn't sleep all night, any of them, and
Yeah.
they came up with it's now like an interview forum. He got someone to interview him.
Yeah, but what was he doing? I mean, all I know is he went up there. He had a comedian come out and he bombed the comedian. The comedian did bad, and then he came out there and he showed up. He showed some videos. He had the girlfriends kissing each other.
There you go.
And he came back. He showed some more videos, and he went on this speech, his rant, like he's addressing something about warlocks and goblins. And then people started booing because they didn't even understand what was going on. Right? I mean, isn't that crazy?
I still don't get it. I really don't, because I'm trying to find the hook. And we've become an audience that loves craziness. Did you see the blow up on Celebrity Apprentice? Did you see any of that at all?
No, I haven't been watching. What's been going on?
Okay. So Gary Busey's like the loose cannon. He's the nut, right? They have this project where they have to create art, and they go to an art store and they buy a bunch of supplies. And Meatloaf thinks that Gary Busey has stolen his art supplies. Meatloaf, oh my God, looked like he was going to tear Busey's head off. Mark McGrath had to get in between them and separate them. And Meatloaf was scary.
But Gary Busey, I mean, he's had mental damage. He's had brain injuries, right? I mean, he fell off a bike and slammed his head on the pavement.
Do you find the thing that he does? He goes, right between us we have, Andrew, is love, and love is leveling, omnipotent values eternally.
Yeah.
Like he just takes the letters of the word and makes he makes a phrase out of it, but he does it to everything. It's really scary, and he does them off the top of his head. It's really kind of spooky. And
wasn't he always nutty? Wasn't he nutty prior to?
Little, yeah. Did you ever see the movie he was nominated for? He was really good in it. He was nominated for an Oscar in the 70s. The Buddy Holly story.
Yeah.
He played Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
And he was really amazing. And he's had a couple of other really good performances. And he's even good on the show. He even produces in this weird kind of way. And you can't fault him. He's raising money. They all do it for a cause. He's doing it for the brain.
But wasn't he just in Celebrity Rehab?
Yeah.
He was just there too. Was he in rehab? I mean, what is he addicted to?
When he was on the show, he's in rehab. You never saw this?
No.
he's in rehab, and they're interviewing him, and they said, yeah, Dr. Drew contacted me, and he wanted me to work with these people. He thought he was on the staff.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. Busey was previously addicted to cocaine, but claims to be 13 years sober. In a conversation with model Amber Smith, who was treated for painkiller addiction, he revealed some. What was he addicted to? It's not saying what he went in there for.
I think he's just addicted to odd behavior.
Yeah.
It's really kind of wild, but it's really kind of nuts. It's a wacko season on that. It really, really is.
On
Celebrity Apprentice?
Yeah, because Nene from
Nene and
Housewives.
Star, and Nene and Star go at it all the time, but like in this nitpicky kind of way, you know?
But how can they... I don't know. They were kind of... It's not a really strong cast, right? I mean...
No.
They had that year where Joan was great.
Yeah.
The year with Joan Rivers.
And the Bret Michaels. And, I always feel bad.
Rodman.
I really feel really bad for Holly Robinson Pete because she had to compete against the guy that almost died. Who's going to get picked?
Holly was making a lot of money for
the autism.
The autism. Even though she didn't win, she still got, I think it was like $250,000
Yeah,
for them.
well, they just had the biggest project in Celebrity Apprentice ever. They did a round, and Marlee Matlin came $14,000 shy of raising $1 million on one project.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm looking
and the other side thought they won because they had $626,000. Which, in any other project would have been like blow out of the water kind of thing.
So season 5 of Celebrity Rehab, it's Steven Adler. Hasn't he? Yeah, he was on Celebrity. This is his second time there.
Well, there's this whole culture now of reality TV celebrities now.
Yeah.
They go from one to the other. People have been on The Surreal Life and Celebrity Weight Loss and,
Amy Fisher is there. She's addicted to shooting women in the head.
Shooting her lovers' wives.
Dwight Gooden.
Really?
Which I think it was known that Dwight Gooden had a cocaine problem.
Yeah.
Jeremy Jackson from Baywatch. Bai Ling, Michael Lohan, and Sean Young.
Sean Young? She was on Celebrity Skate.
Yeah.
She was on Skating with the Celebrities.
And then the Salahis were on there as well, and they were kicked out because they had no addiction.
They weren't really... They're addicted to fame. That's what they were doing.
But I wonder, what were they claiming they were addicted to? Do you know what that was? Because according to TMZ, they had no addiction. Now they're suing the show because they're claiming that they had an addiction. Now they're not treating their addiction. Isn't that nutty?
I have nothing to say to that.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here agog.
I really, you know what I hope? I hope I just make enough money. I don't get any kind of fame. I'm fine with what I have. I just want to make money. Let me have my little niche. Because I think it's like a disease. I think along with fame, you get this crazy addiction to it. This drive to... And some people prevail because, you have to be ambitious and you have to keep trying. And it has to be somewhat of an addiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think some people, just like every other addiction, some people manage their addictions. They're able to function with it. And others go off the deep end.
Absolutely.
If you ever wonder, what would happen to Brad Pitt if he lost his fame? All of a sudden, Brad Pitt, after, 1998, after Fight Club, he didn't do another movie. Nobody wanted to hire him. He just...
there's a bunch of actors like that.
Because there's a ton like that.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden you're like, you know who I haven't seen in a while? And there are people that are kind of famous that just kind of drop off the planet. Yeah. Women more than men, but women go off and raise families. Women actresses, they go off and raise families.
I'm looking here. I'm looking at the people in Celebrity Rehab and who's been in there, and some of them were celebrities, but a lot of them were.
Well, celebrity is a word now that means people more famous than you.
Yeah, I was going to say act. I was going to say an actor, but there are not too many actors except for Tom Sizemore. He was just out of his mind. I think when you can't get hired, and this is my idea. I think when you stop getting hired for some of these roles,
mm-hmm.
you kind of get addicted to something else, because the thing that you love that fame is no longer there, and it's
Oh,
not.
you know
It's
the
not
one.
something
You
you
know
can
what my
buy.
favorite addiction is? I'm gonna get myself in so much trouble. When actors don't have big careers, then they go off and they discover God.
Yeah, well, you're an actor. Just to let everyone know, you're an actor. You've
Yeah.
done stage, and you've done film,
Little TV.
little TV. So you've done acting. So
Right.
you're one to speak. Yeah. They find God after that.
Yeah, it's no one ever finds God
While
they're winning the
Yeah,
Oscar.
Yeah.
They always find God because in this and did this small movie project because God led them to it. God didn't lead you to an Oscar. That's not weird. That's kind of odd.
Yeah, I find it amazing when it's just really fascinating the whole psychology behind becoming a celebrity. Not so much a celebrity, but an actor. Let's say about actors, right?
Yeah.
It's a 1 in a million chance.
Right.
You're gonna get this big break.
Well, the big anomaly about acting is acting draws the people with the worst skills to handle the career.
Oh yeah.
You should have a cast iron ego. You should be able to handle rejection and it attracts people who are horribly insecure.
Yeah.
Who don't know who they are, who like to hide behind characters. Yeah, it's really a weird profession.
There was this really interesting clip on YouTube that I want to talk about. But before we do, we need to talk about our sponsor, Hover.com, the easiest and most simple way to buy a domain. I just got a very nice tweet from somebody on Twitter. The name is Mark Marshall on Twitter. Mark_Marshall. He just said he bought a website. He registered a domain with Hover, and he used our promo code.
Yeah.
I've been getting a ton of these messages. It's just amazing service. And, the problem is with a lot of these companies, there's constant upsell. They are constantly upselling you. They want to add on this. They want to add that on. And your $10 or $12 purchase ends up becoming $35 when you check out because it's almost like scare tactics. They scare you into buying, private registration for $12 when Hover adds private registration already included. You could either have it or you don't need it. They throw it in. They do certified websites, which is a big scam. You're certified by nobody. It doesn't matter. Nobody looks for your certification.
Andrew, you want to be certified?
Yeah, here you go. Give me $6.
There
yeah.
you go. You're certified.
So a simple website becomes an expensive thing. With Hover, you pay their flat rate. You get 10% off if you go to gfq.hover.com for the website. You get the 10% off, or you could use our promo code GFQ. They also, what they do, another thing that they do is unbelievable. They allow you to transfer your website. So you're not stuck with those guys. You're not stuck with the company you don't want to be with. So let's say you bought a website from me and you have 2 years. You paid for 2 years.
Yeah.
You call up Hover and they do free concierge service to transfer your domain. They're waiving the fee for our viewers. You call them up and you say, hey, listen, I'm with, Andrew's domains. I don't like these guys. What can you do? He goes, no problem. We'll get rid of it. We'll bring you over. We'll honor the 2 years that you already have on there. And you just pay $10 for the 1 year of registration. You end up saving so much money by just bringing it over that way.
Just damn smart.
Yeah. Go to gfq.hover.com, get 10% off, and start transferring your domains. Domain names made simple. Hover.com.
Absolutely.
But I was watching this thing on YouTube, and they were talking about why are some people shy? Why are some people held back? Why do some people become actors and musicians? They become comedians, and it's something that we're all born with at childhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's that we are taught not to do certain things and say certain things. There's a certain genius test that children are given. Not everybody's given this, but they did it. And they gave this test to determine if you are a genius. And they gave this test to, 3-year-olds. Or it was a 4-year-old, a group of 4-year-olds. Do you know what percentage of those 4-year-olds were deemed a genius?
Yeah.
98%.
Right.
Then they gave it at 6 years old.
And it
Same
dropped.
kind of test. It dropped by half.
Right.
Then he gave it again, and it dropped. And he gave it again, and it dropped. And the whole idea behind it is complex theory. There's no right or wrong answer. It's, how you get to the answer and the ability to question things. And they said, okay, we're going to give you toothpicks. We're going to give you 6 toothpicks. What can you do with these toothpicks? What can you make with these toothpicks? Or how many different ways can you make this shape with a toothpick? So a lot of them broke them off and they made the shapes, and a lot of people just used the shapes. And that way of thinking changes as you get older because we are taught to think a certain way.
Right. Don't
don't-
do these things.
Like we're
Like
taught,
some people would not break the sticks because you
we're
can't do
taught that there's a stupid answer.
Right. And we fear the stupid
And we
answer.
fear the stupid answer. And at a young age, we don't know that there's a stupid answer. We're questioning.
Right.
And now automatically we say, no, that's a stupid answer. No, that can't be.
You know what acting classes are? Acting classes are an attempt to remove all those parameters
Mm-hmm.
from your thinking. That's all an
Yeah.
acting class is. Because you watch kids pretend, they're totally into it.
Yeah.
Actors are horribly self-conscious. It's like you'd have to remove all of yourself
Sure,
kind of
yeah.
to get through. And in a sense, it's not, and that was a lot of what was done at first was removing yourself
Yeah.
so that you became something else. But a really good actor doesn't become less himself. He becomes more himself,
Sure.
but more his or her true self.
It's really interesting how we end up conditioned into not thinking creatively and not
Absolutely.
speaking out loud, and
We let other people think for us all
yeah.
the time.
It's really fat, and I think a lot of that has to do with acting and musicians and stage actors.
It's why you're choosing to live your life the way it is.
But I can't, like what I do, I could do it here. I can't do it in public. I have a problem with speaking in public. I could talk all day long to thousands of people, but as soon as I see those people, I get nervous. I don't like it. I'm not comfortable doing it.
Right.
It's a strange thing, and this is what I do for a living. I talk.
Listen, I got stage fright every day that I taught. Everyone was like, really? Yeah. Every day that I taught, I thought, can I do it again?
But see, that's what made you a good teacher because you were on your toes. You never got comfortable. See, I'm never comfortable doing this. I never turn the camera on and I'm extremely comfortable. I think once you get comfortable, you let your guard down and you start slipping.
Right.
I'm always
absolutely.
on my toes
But
not to make a mistake.
At the same time, now here's the perfect scenario. You have to be conscious like that, but free enough to be loose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there are actors that can do that. But you know who make the greatest actors? Gary Busey.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm going for.
Yeah, because he's loose. He has no filter.
Right.
He's just going.
And you come up with some amazingly creative stuff. It's just that there's a line, and when it goes too far, then it cuts into, it stops being his art, and it starts affecting the commerce of the acting. And when it starts to affect, and that's what a whole bunch of TV is based on now. It's crazy people dancing that line. Because it's fascinating to watch Charlie Sheen and Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, but see, this is the problem. That's celebrityhood, right?
Right.
That's what's become with celebrityhood.
Right, but those celebrities are fueling acting projects because you want Charlie Sheen in an acting project because his life off the camera is as fascinating as anything that he does on camera. I've
been watching Californications, and I have a friend, a very good friend that he's very much involved in that whole atmosphere in the acting and celebrityhood. He I don't want to say what he does, but he says you will be so surprised. Everything that happens on that show, in reality, is happening.
Oh yeah,
because a lot of these people are so effed up.
One of my favorite
in every possible way.
One of my favorite stories. Joan Collins' sister. She's a writer. Jackie Collins.
Jackie Collins
is a writer. She wrote a book called Rockstar, and in it was a scene where the rock star's having sex with a pair of identical twins.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, it's a great fantasy, but how often could that really happen? And she said, I actually had to water the story down because he was having sex with identical triplets.
Oh my God.
It's like, it's everything that show depicts, I know, happens somewhere. Listen, again, people, I know people too, and I've kind of been in the fringes of those situations at times, and it's like, really?
I think with celebrityhood,
and you begin to think you're crazy for being normal.
Lon, I was sitting, and I'm telling you, my life, it's a weird place. My life has taken me. I'm sitting here, we're having this discussion Tuesday nights. I'm in a strip club, and I'm sitting down having dinner with a porn star. We're discussing the issues in Lebanon. Libya. This, I mean, it's a crazy situation to be in, and I would have judged somebody else in that situation. I'm like, what are you doing on a Tuesday that you're in a strip club with a porn star with a penthouse pet of the year, and this is what you're doing? You're having dinner with her, and crazy stalkers are coming up, and security's throwing them out, and this is what my life is.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking this is not normal for a lot of people.
Right.
For me, it's not normal.
But there are the people that, and that's always like, because people always say, how do you know all these people and this, that, and the other? And I have like celebrity friends.
Yeah.
And like I talk to them online. They're, a lot of them in California and stuff. And they're like, they're the people who can surf normalcy amongst this.
Yeah.
People who can sail in this little enclave of normalcy amongst this do really well. It's almost like they can feign crazy.
Yeah.
And then at home, they're like really, really normal people. Yeah.
It's a strange thing. And, as the show gets bigger, I'm kind of getting sucked into some of that. And I'm thinking, it's not as bizarre when you're in it. It's happening, but you're so involved in what's going on, you don't realize the craziness. But I guess that's what happens, right? I mean,
absolutely.
You're there and you see it, and it kind of becomes the norm.
Right. It's like, oh, sure. Listen, I know people that get themselves into situations and call me at like 3 a.m. going, what would you do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is my life. This is. Am I actually talking about the things that I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
And in a strange way, I wouldn't have my life any differently. It's like I love to visit crazy.
Yeah,
I just don't want to live there.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Unfortunately, I'm right at the line.
Right.
Of crazy.
Right. Well, you're getting because you're running the place. You're getting
I
involved.
see it all. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny because like when I went in for the photo shoot for you, I'm the guy that stands off in the corner, and I normally like.
But wasn't that a weird? I mean,
day?
Wasn't that a strange day?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean that's they're naked girls running around. It's totally normal. We're in the back of a strip club for a photo shoot. I'm walking around in my underwear, crown, and a cape. I mean, and this is what I'm doing on a 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, add on to that, Andrew. Put my shoes on. Now I'm watching my former student.
Yeah.
Do this.
And his wife is telling the penthouse models to kind of get closer and telling me to grab their breasts. Like this is what I'm doing. Like this is where I am in my life right now. Like I couldn't have gone and become, I don't know, a dentist. That would have been way too normal for me.
This is why I think, very honestly, there are people that are into some freaky stuff.
Yeah.
Because
you kind of get sucked into it.
No, because their life is so normal that they have this little pocket that they need
That's
to be.
an interesting theory.
They have to be nuts, Well,
I think
so wouldn't it be nice to know that your family dentist at night is going off to like,
putting on a mask and
going to the S&M club. And I used to say that about someone that I used to work for. I'll mention it off the air. I thought that would be the perfect person that would be like, bound and enslaved,
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. You think, when someone is there has to be pent up aggression and some, sexual aggression or something when they're so straight edge. It's a lot of people that.
Oh yeah, if they're not, then they're just totally boring. Yeah. And I've rarely met anyone that's really boring. Like you talk to anyone long enough,
but there are a lot of people.
Everyone has a good story.
Yeah, but there are people that.
But there are people that don't want a lot.
Yeah,
I think you and I want excitement in our life, in our own way.
Like when I did the magazine, there were certain people that looked at it and they looked at Jessica and they said, "How can you allow him to do this?" And I goes, "This is his job. This is what he does. This is he's kind of in show business." He goes, "But he's around women." And he goes, "What is he gonna do?" It's not real. I mean, he's not really walking around with a crown and a staff and a cape, walking around with those women. It's a picture. It's fake. It's pretend.
One of my first acting jobs, when I got my union cards, when I went professional, I was in a show that was at the Duplex. The Duplex, a fairly renowned gay club in the city. It's kind of a cabaret. And in the play, at one point, I end up wearing a pair of pirate boots and a thong, and that's it.
Oh, that's excellent. When was this?
And my wife was like, "You have to come see Lon.
Yeah.
You have to come see him." It was great because he's great.
What?
It was like 4 years ago.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, yeah. And like some students found out that I did it. And, there's no holds barred. And I just started, I literally like stripped in the show. I had peel away pants and
Oh,
stuff.
that's brilliant.
And I looked like one of the Latin Kings. I had like a mesh t-shirt,
In a thong.
Yeah. And I just peeled it off, and I never watched girls implode so badly. So
Yeah.
here are these girls that are like 23, 24 years old, and they just like,
And they were your students, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I think people have a difficulty, I went to the bank the other day, and I was telling the story on the other show. I went to the bank, and they listened to the show, the people at the bank.
Oh, cool.
And, well, they go, oh, we were listening to the show. We find it so funny. And one of the women goes, it was a little racist, but it was funny. And now I'm like, I'm explaining. I'm like, it's a character. I'm not really that out there. It's you play it. It's that type of show. But most people do not understand that, even though I'm playing myself, it's a certain extension of myself. People always say, like, well, you're not the same on the tech show that you are on the Andrew Zarian show, because there's no need for me to be dropping F-bombs on that show. Like you could tame yourself. And then they go, well, you're not being yourself. Well, and I say, this is a perfect example. At your grandmother's deathbed, are you going to stop dropping F-bombs and talking about strippers and having sex?
Right.
No.
It's where you are.
You behave in a certain way depending on where you are, but like some people can't grasp that.
I know. I never understand that. It's like,
hey man, you're not being real.
Here's the simplest example. When you were a kid, you knew which parent to go to get money.
Sure.
Right. Did you behave the same way in front of each parent? No.
I don't know. People, it's hard. It's I don't know.
Well, I let the people judge with a blanket judgment, as opposed to like seeing the situation and going, oh, let me judge from this point of view. Oh, I see that. Me and a bunch of guys sitting around a bar are going to talk differently than when I'm sitting around with a bunch of my wife's friends, because they talk much dirtier.
Yeah.
It's
an interesting thing. I mean, you know me off the air. I'm always cursing off the air.
Yeah, and I rarely do.
Yeah, you really do, but it's a
I
reverse
curse more
thing.
I curse more on the air than I do here, because
it's a fascinating thing.
I get excited here, and I'll I only curse in I say I curse for two reasons. I curse when I get cut off in traffic and somewhere in and around orgasm. That's about it.
Perfect explanation. But I'm still amazed at how these celebrities behave. But I think they end up behaving that way because it kind of becomes the norm, and they're allowed to behave that way. And I'll give you an example. When I go to the club, Sapphires takes care of us, and they comp everything. We drink and we eat for free. Yeah, you should definitely come. I'm going there tomorrow, actually. We eat for free. We drink for free.
Tomorrow.
We eat for free. We drink for free, and the liquor's pouring. It's very easy, and I'm not defending it. It's very easy.
I don't think they have a lot of vegan food
yeah,
options.
They actually do. Some of the girls there are vegans, and they have it on the menu for the girls.
Oh,
so
lovely.
they have vegan meals.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
But it's very easy to get sucked into that when you're being comped constantly and somebody's shoving liquor at you.
And it becomes your norm.
It becomes a norm, and it's very easy for somebody to make that mistake because their judgment is impaired to get into that car and drive.
Yep.
Luckily, I go with Jessica. She doesn't drink.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't drink, depending on the night. If she says, hey, listen, I want to have a drink, then she drinks. If I want to drink, I drink. But
I'm lucky Joe never drinks.
Yeah, so she could drive. See, we change. I mean, if she says like, "Oh no, listen, Adrian,
she'll just do the Black Tar heroin instead."
That's it. Yeah. You won't smash into a post with that. But it's easy. I mean, you're thinking it, and then you think like, well, why isn't Lindsay Lohan having a chauffeur?
An interesting theory. I had an acting teacher say once that in terms of celebrities are arrested in development at the moment they become famous.
Why do you say that? Why that?
So someone becomes famous, then they don't have to grow up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone caters to them at that point. If you lived your life and had to tough it out till you got to be 35, but if you're like, you think about it.
Yeah.
You're
like Peter Pan syndrome.
Kids are assholes at 15, whether they have money or not. Now add money to it.
Yeah.
That's like, that's enhanced asshole.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I mean, you look at all these celebrities.
Or think about, you're still at the age. See, I'm going to end up sounding like I'm insulting you. But however wise you think you are now, in 20 years, you're going to think you were a moron, and you're going to go,
Sure.
how the hell did I manage to start this network and everything? I had no idea what I was doing. And yet you did it because you did it knowing no fear.
Well, I do it now. I say if I knew what I knew now 5 years ago, I'd be in a different situation in my life. Right,
exactly.
I mean, you do it.
But that never
constantly.
stops. It's my favorite
Yeah.
Kathy Griffin line in the world. She said, "I'm old enough now to know that I'm an idiot right at this moment, because tomorrow I will be smarter.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I will do it better. And it's the wise person that continuously is wiser than they were the day before.
Yeah.
But people, if you have everything handed to you, you have to be no wiser. If all your responsibility, your financial responsibility, you become famous enough that you have an accountant, you have people who handle you.
They do everything for you.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to grow up. So it's you begin watch people. They will express themselves like a 25-year-old when they're actually 50.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a 50-year-old actor that is out of control.
They don't even have to be out of control that much. There are people that don't give away their control as much as other people, so it doesn't happen sometimes. Try to think of a good one off the top of my head, but I don't want to indict anyone.
Well, look at Charlie Sheen, right? He got his big break in Platoon.
Mm-hmm.
He was like 23 there.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say he's behaving. Well, no, he's behaving like a crazy person. Well, no, you know what? He always does behave like a 20-something because he's always slept around with women. He's always, abused drugs. He's always been promiscuous while he was married.
Everyone's now looking at his behavior going, you know what? It's time. It's the premise of the show.
Yeah.
He's a privileged guy. The moment you have privilege, you have no reason to advance intellectually, in terms of wisdom. You don't have to.
That's really interesting, yeah. That's an interesting concept.
Like, I'm thinking, think about it. If you won the lottery when you were 18.
Oh, God.
Right.
I wouldn't be doing this.
Right. If you won the lottery now.
Yeah, I'd be thinking about, I'd be thinking about, okay, we'll get a house, we'll have a kid,
I'll invest in this equipment. Even if you kept this going, you not like, I can go to Disney World,
Yeah. It's interesting, yeah.
I think it's really true. I think money creates a safety. Too much money creates.
I look at a lot of my brother's friends, and I'm like, oh, this freaking dope. Like I see it on Facebook. So I'm like, oh, you're fighting with people. You're doing this. I'm like, you're an idiot. Just go to work and be settled.
Right. Your entire life. They say that your first half of your life you accumulate things, and the second half of your life you get rid of them.
Yeah.
And it's really true. And it's not just things. It's thoughts. It's and the person that gets to the end of their life the happiest is the person that says, you know what? I don't need these things anymore. I don't need negative people. When Joe got sick, we got rid of a handful of toxic people.
For what? Because they were just.
Well, it was like, gee, I'm really sorry you're sick. Did I tell you that I met this new guy? It's like
a lot of selfish people.
Yeah, and I'm not asking people to pay attention to my sick wife all the time. But if you're over at my house, and my wife is sick, it's not. Yeah, it's what is the enough?
Don't mope around, but I mean,
enough. The one I always like is enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think of me?
Yeah.
It turns.
I know
into
a lot
that.
of people like that. I know a ton of people like that.
I know people that. Well, you know what used to happen when I was freaked me out when I was a teacher. I'd have parent-teacher conference. And I'd come in, and there'd be a kid that I'd kind of need to talk to the parents about it. And I'd go, I'm concerned about this and this, that, and the other. And the parent would go, yes, we have a lot of difficulty with him or her. It's like, I've been going through a lot of things. And it's like, it just, like they switch gears, and it was a therapy session for them.
Or what they're doing, they're blaming, they're protecting the kid and trying to make it seem like, no, it's me that's the problem, not him. Because that's the worst thing a parent could do, right? Accept the fact that there's something wrong with the child.
Yeah.
They can't ever do that.
Oh, no, you know what? You're being much nicer. There were parents that their kid was I don't know why half the people in the world have children.
Yeah.
Because
they shouldn't, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that children aren't wonderful. I don't have kids. I suppose it's a wonderful thing. I just never wanted kids. Joe never wanted kids. I love teaching. I love kids. I just, I liked renting and leasing them. I just, I never wanted ownership. Yeah. But I walk through a store and I see a parent walking their kids, and they look so miserable.
Yeah,
and I'm like, why did, or they'll talk about, how they're strapped financially, and it's like, and you had another kid.
And you had another kid,
this year. It's like,
yeah. I know someone that just had their 4th kid, and the guy is working like 5 jobs to support his family, and the wife needs to take care of the kids. And I'm thinking, why would you put yourself in that situation and have a 4th kid and a 5th kid? I mean, 4 kids, but why would you put yourself in a situation at 1 and 2? You kind of know this is getting difficult.
I've always abided by the
know.
fact that you never have more kids than arms. Once you reach out in one direction and another direction, once you go grab for 2 kids, you got nothing else to grab with.
People just get crazy with it, and certain people I'm talking about live in a not 1 bed. It's a 2-bedroom apartment in a really crappy place, and the guy works 30 hours straight just to put food on the table. They're claiming they're getting benefits. They're on this and they're on that, and I'm thinking,
is this really what you wanted?
Is this the most you wanted from life? Was this your goal? I mean, I'm sure you got up at one point and said, I want to make something of myself. I want to have a big house. I want to live well. But you're living in misery with 4 miserable kids. Crazy.
These were the same kids that I used to say. I don't know if I ever said it to your class. I used to say it all the time. It was like, people would always be like, can I get at least the 65, Mr. Blaze?
Yeah.
And I went, that's what you want out of life? You
At
want
least.
just the 65? I said, so when you go out in the world and you meet a girl, you want that girl to rate like a 65.
Yeah.
And when you get a job, you want it to pay like
Just a 65.
Just a 65 in the house you want, in the car you want to drive. It's like they all want, but they don't,
Just a 65. Excellent.
Yeah, it's who the hell needed that? I don't. Makes me nuts.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Go to our website, guysfromqueens.com. Also go to the streaming site, gfqlive.tv. Lon, I appreciate it. Anything to promote?
Go to Facebook. I did really well over the month of March, raising money for the AIDS ride that I did. I'm up to.
I believe I donated.
Yep, you did.
Month, yeah.
3183 now, up to my $5,000 pledge.
Almost there.
So I'm $1,817 away. Really, what I ask for people, if you can give more, it's great. But a simple $5, if you met me somewhere, you'd probably buy me a drink or a beer or a cup of coffee.
Bucks.
So if you go on Facebook, my the link to the ride is there, and if you can't,
Facebook.com/LonBlaze. Right?
Yep,
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Excellent, Lon. And we'll see you all next week. And I'm just saying.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.